Okay, I have already prepared the 9 CPT areas, post the progress chart, achievement chart, and the training activity matrix. At the same time, I have already prepared all of the necessary tools, materials, and equipment that I need for the COC1 demonstration and connected my laptop or computer on our Smart TV or the projector. So I would start now on my COC1 demonstration. Okay. A pleasant day to all. Welcome to Mosaic Academy of Excellence here in Quezon City. And welcome on Technical Drafting NC2. I will be your trainer. My name is John Nicolay D. Gondora. Before anything else, I would like to check first those who are present today. So please sign this attendance sheet and pass it on until all of the trainees has signed the attendance sheet. Please pass it on. Done. Okay, so we have two trainees for today. So before we continue, I would like to give you a brief background of the training center. So Mosaic Academy of Excellence is a newly TESDA accredited training and assessment center which is located in Quezon City. We offer courses such as Events Management Services NC3 and Technical Drafting NC2. Our mission is to provide quality training to enable our trainees to be globally competitive and easily land a job. While our vision is to have an affiliation with recruitment agencies that will help us in facilitating the deployment of our graduates. So any questions and queries regarding the training center? Say none. Before we continue, I would like for you to familiarize the areas of this training center. So let me show you the center's layout. So currently, we are at our computer laboratory. So dito po mangyayari yung CAD or yung computer-aided design drafting demonstrations po natin. Sa likod po natin is the males and females restrooms and the PWD restrooms as well, no? And yung support service area. On our left are the practical work area, which is doon naman po tayo magma-manual drafting, and yung institutional assessment area po natin, which is doon po tayo mag-handle ng institutional assessment in order for us to evaluate your competence and learning progress po sa technical drafting NC2. So of course, nandyan din po ang aking faculty area, which is the trainer's resource area. Sa dulo naman po, sa pinakakaliwa, nandyan po ang contextual learning area and the learning resource area. So more theory-based type of learning dito, no? Magbabasa po tayo ng ating mga information sheets and other modules that can help you throughout your learning progress. Of course, nandyan din po yung distance learning area. So please be reminded that we have a solid waste management program dito po sa training center. So hati po sa tatlo ang ating basura dapat. It's either biodegradable, non-biodegradable, and recyclable. Okay? So as I start our session, let's thank God first for the opportunity to be able to attend this training. Amen. So to effectively facilitate before we start on our orientation, to effectively facilitate and guide you through the learning process, I need to know a little bit about you, your background, if you have prior skills, knowledge, or overall experience with regards to technical drafting and C2. So I would like to accomplish for you to accomplish these tools, the characteristics of learners, the self-assessment checklist, and the pre-test. So that can help me gauge your current knowledge and skills, as well as your preferences with the training of technical drafting and C2. Okay? You have 10 minutes to accomplish this. Please get one and pass. Sige po, start na po tayo. Done na po. Thank you. Sige po, pakibalik na po sa akin. And tomorrow, you will be informed, or I think later, we will be informed of the results of your pre-training assessment. So let me continue on the orientation when it comes to competency-based training. So ito po yung training delivery natin gagamitin, no? Competency-based training. It is an approach that focuses on the competency development of the learner as the result of the training. So bakit ba competency-based approach ang ating ginagamit? Because education and training must keep pace with the current technology and customer requirements of technical drafting MC. So kung ano yung hinihingi on the industry of construction and planning and design, yun po yung dapat na ituturo natin for technical drafting MC. So, si competency-based training ay may 10 principles. So the first is the training is based on the curriculum developed from the competency standard. So technical drafting po kasi as well as lahat po ng programs and courses or qualifications ng TESDA ay may tinatawag na training regulations. And of course, under Section 2 of our training regulations is the competency standards. Dito po nakalagay kung ano po ang kailangang matutunan ng ating mga learners for technical drafting NC2 and during assessment naman, ano yung kailangan nilang ipakitang skill, knowledge, or overall competency. Principle number 2, learning is competency-based or modular instructor. So since competency-based po tayo, nakabase tayo sa sarili po ninyong progress of your learning. So we will focus one module at a time in order for you to focus on the said module or competency. So number 3, training deliveries individualized and self-paced. So yun po yung purpose, isa sa mga purpose kung bakit natin ginawa kanina yung pre-training assessment for me to know a little bit more about you. What are your learning preferences, learning styles, and how you actually learn. So of course, under this principle, we will cater your every need for individualized learning. Principle number 4, training is based on the work that must be performed. Meaning to say, training po is based on actual industry practice. So as mentioned earlier, kung ano po yung nire-require ng industry in planning and design, yun po yung dapat natin matututunan when it comes to competency-based training. So of course, since the under principle number 1 is that the training itself is based on the competency standards, all of the learning materials that we're gonna use dito sa ating training for technical drafting and C2 is also directly related to the competency standards and the curriculum. Number 6, assessment of learners is based on the collection of evidences of work performance based on industry or organizational required standards. Meaning to say, you will be only assessed according to your own learning progress. Hindi natin po na kino-compare ang individual progress natin when it comes to competency-based training. So, ang focus natin dito is once again, your competency or yung inyong kakayanan. And later, i-discuss ko rin po yung ating evaluation system kung paano po kayo i-evaluate. Number 7, training is based on and off the job component. So, ang pagta-training po natin is both theory-based or yung learning-based po natin and actual practice-based or yung practicality ng ating pinag-aaralan. So, it is better, of course, if you have on-the-job experience din. Number 8, the system allows recognition of prior learning. So, given na si competency-based training ay competency-based nga po at nakabase po ito sa inyong current or inyong kakayanan at kasanayan with regards to technical drafting and C2, it is very integral for us to actually recognize prior learning if there is any. Excuse me. So in the event that you have prior knowledge or prior learning when it comes to technical drafting and C2, mainly kasi dalawa yung core competencies natin dito, namely draft architectural layout in details, so manual drafting yan, and prepared computer-aided drawings. So yan naman po yung magda-draft tayo using the computer and the software CAD. So in the event that you have already mastered one of the said competencies, we can recognize the prior learning through proper use of institutional assessment and proof and evidences. Number 9, The system allows for learner to enter and exit programs at different times and levels and to receive an award for competencies attained at any point. Meaning to say that since tayo po ay individualized and self-paced yung learning, at the same time competency-based din po ito, inaalaw po ng sistema na pwede po tayong matapos ng mas maaga, hindi po tayo naka-academic year. So, mag-e-end po yung training natin kapag lahat po ng competencies ay ating na-attain na. At of course, by attaining those said competencies, you will receive a certificate of achievement. Number 10, approved training programs are nationally accredited. So, of course, meron tayong yung binabanggit ko po kanina na competency standards and it is a national standard. So, in theory, dapat yung ating tinuturo na technical drafting NC2, anywhere in the Philippines, same standard po tayo ng learning. So, next naman po is the CBT process flow. So, CBT or competency-based training is delivered this way. So, first, a trainee will enter the program. As a trainee enters a program, they will be given proper orientation where the roles of the trainer and trainees are explained as I will do later, and identify your training needs according to the results of the previous pre-training assessment. And based on the results of the identification of your training needs, we will organize your learning activities. The trainee, you then selects the competency and receive instruction, and the competency-based learning materials galing po sa akin, sa inyong trainer. In doing all of the activities, achievement and progress card are used to monitor the learning processes of the trainee, then receives assistance when necessary, and the trainer gives the feedback. So, you will utilize reading of the learning packages, viewing of multimedia materials, usage of manuals, observation of my demonstration, practicing of the said demonstration skills in the workshop, and of course, receive assistance and feedback. So when the trainee satisfactorily achieve or perform the learning process, the trainee attempts to do a task while the trainer observes the said performance of the task. So we will both rate your performance, and if you satisfactorily perform the said competency, you will undergo institutional assessment of that said competency. At paikot-ikot lang po ito until such time na lahat ng competencies ay na-cover na, and you may undergo the national assessment and exit the program. Now, in the event that you did not do satisfactorily perform the competency, you may always go back to the competency-based learning in order for us to have further mastery or skill of the said competency. So as your trainer, I will facilitate and mentor you on your learning. I will also manage you on your learning. So during your learning process, I will counsel and evaluate your learning progress as well. So of course, I will assist you and plan your full learning process, and during your demonstrations, I will act it out, so I will serve as a role model and an actor on proper demonstration of the tasks. Excuse me. So, as a trainee naman, you may select what you want to learn and when you want to learn it. You may receive credit for what you already know through the use of the recognition of prior learning, but also you are responsible for what you learn and when you want to learn it. So here is the types of the competency-based learning materials. So focus muna tayo dito sa anim na types ng learning materials po na ito. First is the information sheet, which is basically, ito po ay naglalaman ng information of a said topic or content. So after you have read the information sheet, you will answer the self-check, no, on your own, and you will compare your answers to the answer key. So i-check natin yung ating sarili kung naintindihan ba natin yung binasa nating information sheet through the use of the self-check. So, during demonstrations naman, you will read and perform what is on the operation job or task sheet. So, the difference of that three is that the task sheet focuses on one particular tasks. Job sheet naman, on the other hand, focuses on multiple tasks and it is an output-based task, kaya job na po kasi may product po tayo. While the operation sheet naman po focuses on operating a certain equipment. So in theory, these sheets are basically the same. Ang difference lang po is what will you perform on that said sheets. So of course, we also have performance criteria checklists, which is the checklist of the performance of your specific task, job, or operation. So under competency-based training, we have an evaluation system that is adjectival in nature. It's either you are competent or not yet competent. So we focus on the word yet, no, because we will provide time for our trainees, you, to have mastery and skill of the said competencies. Within, of course, nominal duration of the said training program. So here is the qualification overview of technical drafting NC2. We have 4 basic competencies and 4 common competencies that would be taught. Ituturo po yan concurrently or sabay sa ating dalawang core competencies, which is to draft architectural layouts and details and prepare computer-aided drawings. So you will be assessed according to your attitude, your skills, or your knowledge. Okay, that concludes our orientation. So I will provide feedback on the results rather of the pre-training assessment. So si trainee number 1, si Mr. Reyes po pala, according to the data gathered from the pre-training assessment, you have prior knowledge when it comes to drafting architectural layouts and details. So kindly submit to me a proof or evidence of the said competence for that particular competency. However, trainee number 2, Mr. Santos pala is not yet knowledgeable on the whole qualification technical drafting NC2. So tomorrow we will both focus on your training na. Mag-start na po tayo ng ating training proper. So before we end this session, may I ask if you have any questions? If not, I will see you all tomorrow for the lesson proper or the training proper and move to the next learning activities. Okay, good morning trainees. Welcome to your training proper. So before we start, I would like for you to sign the attendance. Please sign it and pass it on to the next person and kindly return it to me after. Done na po? Okay. So according to our training activity matrix, Mr. Santos that has no prior knowledge when it comes to technical drafting NC2 will start on the very first topic for drafting architectural layouts and details, which is to understand architectural legends and symbols. So, Mr. Santos, please proceed po sa ating contextual learning area and kindly read on information sheet 1.1-1, answer the self-check 1.1-1 and compare answers to the answer key right after. So after that, you may continue on information sheet 1.1-2, answer the self-check 1.1-2 and compare answers to the answer key as well. After that, balik po kayo sa akin. While si Mr. Reyes naman po pala has prior knowledge, no? When it comes to drafting architectural layouts and details, so pwede tayo mag-focus na sa kanyang second core competency, which is to prepare computer-aided drawings. Kindly submit the certificate of employment. Let me just check it. Okay. So we will proceed with the prepare computer-aided drawings for Mr. Reyes. So, Mr. Reyes, welcome to the module of preparing computer-aided drawings. So, here it is the second core competency of technical drafting and C2. So, here are the learning outcomes. One is to plan and prepare for work. Next is to prepare tools, materials, and set up equipment for the drawing. Third is the layout and produce computer-aided drawings and details. And number 4 is to complete or submit complete drawings rather. So for today, we'll be focusing on the third learning outcome, which is to lay out and produce computer-aided drawings. So the very first learning content on that is to actually draw basic geometry. So are you ready na po for the learning methods? Okay. So, Mr. Reyes, the first po na aking ipapagawa sa inyo is to read this information sheet 2.3-1, answer the self-check right after, and compare answers to the answer key. This is about drawing basic geometry. Sige po, pakibasa na po ito. You have 10 minutes to do so. Okay, done na po. So you have understood the lesson well? Okay, not yet, don't worry. So we have other learning methods pa naman in order for you to learn more about drawing basic geometry. So we will proceed on the lecture portion of the training methods, which is to draw basic geometry. So the very basic geometry that you can actually use or draw is a line. So a line is the distance between 2 points daw po. So remember that AutoCAD recognizes an object by its coordinates. You will need 2 given points to draw a line. So sabi ko nga kanina, a line is a distance between 2 points. So you have to identify those 2 points. So you can start at a random point on your WCS for your first point, but you should specify the coordinates of your second point. So if you type inline on the command window or click the line icon on the draw toolbar or select the line on the draw menu, pwede na po kayong mag-draw ng line. So specify the first point daw po, click on a random point on your working area and specify the second point in relation to the first point. So ilalagay daw natin is the distance, then we do less than, then kung ilang degrees po from the first point yung ating second point, yung angle po niya. So if you hit F8 sa ating keyboard, you will turn on what we call the orthographic mode. So pagka naka-orthographic mode po yan, pagdodraw po ng line ninyo, it's either horizontal or vertical in nature. So, yan po ay either 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, or 270 degrees. So, of course, you point the cursor to the left-hand side. You will see that the cursor only snaps on those 4 na degrees. Then, of course, you will type the distance naman, for example, 7, and hit enter, and you have a line na. So if you know the coordinates of the line, if you want to draw, you can simply type in the command of the said coordinates within the line. So give the command, specify the first point for 8 and 11, that is for the X, Y, and Z axis. And specify the second point of the line, 5, 11, 23, or dun sa sample third. So of course, hindi lang naman po line ang pwede natin i-draw when it comes to AutoCAD. So para mas madali, pwede tayo mag-entirely draw ng rectangle. All you have to do is to pick 2 points, yung upper left and yung lower right. So type in REC, enter, specify the first point and the second point, and you have a rectangle na. Circle naman po is type in C, identify the center, and identify the radius from the center ng ating circle or arc. For the polygon naman po, type in POLY, specify the number of edges and length of a side. And of course, kailangan din natin i-identify kung ilang sides po ito at kung ano ang radius niya from the center as well. So a small tip daw po, you can use the explode command for the tool to split the object into its components or lines. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na polyline. Polyline po kasi is a command that creates a chain line with multiple vertices. So basically, ang selection po natin sa isang polyline ay kahit ilang line po yan, ay isa lang po ang magiging selection niya. So in the event that you want to explode these lines into individual ones, type in explode. Lastly naman po are what we call hatches. So hatches naman po adds shaded patterns or entire solid shapes with regards to the inside of a shape. So usually ginagamit po ito to indicate the material to be used, such as a concrete hatch, or if you want to completely block out during printing yung loob ng isang shape na to. So did you understand the lesson well? Okay, not yet. Of course, meron pa naman tayong ibang methods pa in order for you to actually learn. So kindly listen and view this video presentation in order for you to further learn about drawing basic geometry.
Site plans are housed, selecting the line commander. If press bar down we can enter 8 feet. Mouse in rectangle snap appear for the line length. Move your.
Okay, did you understood the lesson well na? Okay. So since may kahit pa paano knowledge na tayo when it comes to the drawing of the basic geometry, we can actually perform na or demonstrate on how to do so. Don't worry, no? Ako naman po ang mauuna sa inyo before you do your own demonstration. So, start na po tayo ng demonstration. So, nakikita na po yung screen, no? Ng AutoCAD. Sige. So, the very basic part of your geometry daw is what we call the line. So, type in PL for polyline. Hit F8 for the orthographic mode and identify the lines lang po. So meron na po tayong rectangle. But of course, you can actually do rectangles pa by type in REC. So type in REC, specify the 2 points. Ayan. And yan, may rectangle ka na. Of course, lalagyan din natin ng bintana, no? Ng windows. So to draw a triangle daw po, type in poly. Identify the number of sides. Try natin ng 3 para magkaroon tayo ng triangle. Identify the center of the polygon and ayan, we have a triangle na. And circle naman po for the clerestory. Ayan. And lastly, we will put hatch on the windows para ma-identify siya as glass. So pick lang tayo ng hatch. Identify lang natin kung saan natin siya ilalagay. And that's it. So that's how you do basic geometry in AutoCAD. So did you understand the demonstration well? Okay, so please proceed po sa ating computer and you may demonstrate drawing basic geometry, and I will of course observe and evaluate your performance. So punta na po dito tayo sa computer. Okay? Sige po, you may start doing the demonstration na while I will be observing you on your demonstration. You may start po, you have 20 minutes to do so. Go. Okay, you're done na po with your demonstration. Okay, let me evaluate your performance. So, when it comes to your demonstration on drawing basic geometry, as I have observed, you actually did well on your demonstration, no? Given na ito po ay practice pa lang. But nakita ko po dun sa the way you did the excuse me, the way you did the drawing of the basic geometry, nag-utilize tayo ng ibang paraan in order for us to actually draw the triangle. So hindi tayo gumamit ng polygon, but we actually utilized polyline, which is okay naman. Ang maganda naman po kasi sa AutoCAD, meron siyang abundance of commands, and you may use one command or the other in order for it to actually produce these types of drawings. So, when you have further mastery of AutoCAD, mas magagamit natin yung iba pang commands in order for us na pagpadaliin po yung paraan natin ng paggawa sa AutoCAD. So, nonetheless, you did well on your demonstration naman po. And I want you to practice more on this demonstration for drawing of basic geometry, because tomorrow I will be giving you what we call the institutional assessment na po. Okay? Since you did satisfactorily perform the task naman. So, keep on practicing po, and I will see you again tomorrow for our institutional assessment. Congratulations. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Before we start today's session, I would like for you to sign this attendance. Please get one and pass. Sir, please get one and sign pala. Done na po? Okay. So, according to our training activity matrix, si Mr. Santos pala has moved on the learning session, no? And we will be focusing on the second core competency na, which is to prepare computer-aided drawings. But si Mr. Santos pala, that has prior knowledge, ay mag-undergo na po ng institutional assessment for prepare computer-aided drawings. So, Mr. Santos, ready na po tayo? Sige po, sama po kayo sa akin sa institutional assessment area for your institutional assessment. Okay, welcome Mr. Santos sa inyong institutional assessment. Ang assessment methods po natin dito is 1 hour written exam first, then 3 hours demonstration with oral questioning. So, of course, ang ating kailangan maipakita dito is your skill when it comes to preparing computer-aided drawings, such as planning and preparing for work, setting up tools, materials, and equipment before doing the said computer-aided drawings, to lay out and produce computer-aided drawings, and lastly, to submit it to me, yung inyong completed na po na drawing. So are you ready na po for your institutional assessment? Okay? Sige. Start na po tayo. The first method would be the written exam. This is a 20-item test. So pakibasa po muna at unawain. If you have any questions when it comes to the written exam, pakisabi po sa akin para clarify po lahat. So you may start. You have 1 hour to do so. Ito na po. Okay, done na po. Sige, we will proceed with the second method, which is the demonstration. So punta po tayo sa ating computer ulit for your demonstration. So before you start your demonstration, Mr. Santos, kindly read this specific instructions to the candidate so that you may know ano po yung kailangan nating i-demonstrate. Pakibasa po at unawain. Kapag may tanong po, lapit lang po kayo sa akin at i-address po natin yan. Okay, nabasa na po? Sige po, you may start doing your demonstration. You have 3 hours to do so to prepare a simple layout or simple perspective of a house. Sige po, start na po tayo. Okay, sige po. I-observe ko po kayo while you start doing your demonstration. Okay. Done na po tayo with your demonstration. Okay, before we have your feedback on the institutional assessment, I would like to ask some questions with regards to preparing computer-aided drawings. Okay, so question number 1, what would be the command in order for you to copy a simple object in AutoCAD? Okay, so how about if you want to mirror a simple object in AutoCAD? Okay, so let me provide feedback on your institutional assessment. So according to the data gathered and evidences collected on your performance on the institutional assessment, so firstly on the written exam, you have managed to answer the written exam 80% correctly. So yung items lang po na need natin i-improve on is more actually on the layers and kung ano po yung designated line weights po. So, but of course, every architectural design or construction firm naman po has their own set of layer standards. So, mas matututunan po natin yan when we actually do work na po sa isang construction or design firm. So, when it comes to your demonstration naman, na-observe naman natin no, that you have already mastered the skill in drawing geometry when it comes to AutoCAD. You have managed to utilize different set of commands at hindi po yung basic commands natin na triangle, rectangle. Gumamit na po tayo ng copy at ng mirror na commands, which is very good in utilizing different commands when it comes to drawing basic or drawing geometry. While nakita ko lang din po, minor detail lang, Of course, tayo po ay tayo po ay gumagamit ng electronic equipment and may water po kasi tayo sa ating computer. So of course, you have to observe proper occupational health and safety, especially that this is an electronic equipment and we don't really want to have a water near it. So this is just ano lang po for your safety din. Pero nonetheless naman, that is a minor detail naman. And as you go along on your process naman in learning, or practicing na yung mismo technical drafting, matututunan din naman po natin. For your oral question naman, you have answered both of my questions satisfactorily. The command for copy is CO and the command for mirror is MI. So you have answered both of it correctly. So with these results, I can now consider you competent for prepare computer-aided drawings. Since this is your last pala na core competency on technical drafting and C2 as evident in our progress chart, I can now recommend you to undergo the national assessment. Congratulations po. So tick lang po natin itong progress chart to make sure that all of the competencies ay na-cover na po ninyo. Okay, kumpleto na po. So once again, congratulations and good luck po sa ating national assessment. But before you go, please answer this training session evaluation form. This would help me improve or enhance the conduct of the training and the training session. So thank you po. And once again, congratulations and God bless po sa ating national assessment. Done na po ako. So medyo mababa lang po yung COC1 demonstration ko guys, kasi marami inelaborate ko yung pagdi-discuss ng orientation materials, kaya humaba yun. Pero usually 30 minutes lang po ito ginagawa. So before we continue, may katanungan po ba before mag-demonstrate na po si Mr. Balagtas?
Sir, may question po ako.
Yes po.
Yung pong kasing learning content ko is anim po siya. So dun po sa pinagawa nyo na na template sa akin sa content. May pinagsama po ako dun na learning content yung pong step ng stealing of knives, sharpening of knives, saka stealing of knives po.
Saan niyo po pinagsama?
Dun po sa learning content po niya.
Saan niyo po pinagsama sa session plan?
Opo, sa session plan po.
Okay lang naman po mag-cluster ng topics kung clusterable naman siya.
Okay po. Kasi yun na nga po yung naisip ko kasi po siya kumbaga pag po nag-sharp ng naghasa ka po ng gamit po yung stone, ang ang pinipinish po siya sa rin po sa steel. Kaya po pinagsama ko na po siya sa akin ding sa COC1 po, sir.
Okay, wala akong problema.
Okay po, salamat po.
Any questions po before mag-proceed si Mr. Balagtas sa kanyang COC1 demo? Siyempre, hihingin niyo yun, no? Yung recording na ito, hihingin niyo. Ihiwalay ko na lang yung COC1 demonstration ko. Para kung sakali na yun lang yung need nyo, ibibigay ko sa inyo later kapag katapos. Then after that, ibibigay ko rin yung recording ng buong araw kasama nung kay Mr. Balagtas. Ika-cut ko lang. Medyo matatagalan lang ako kasi i-edit ko pa yung video. Wala po tayong katanungan para makapag-start na po si Mr. Balagtas. Sige, Sir Matthew, prepare ka na. Sabihin mo sa akin pagka-ready ka na, ha?
Okay, sir. Sige po. Sir, nakikita niyo na po yung screen ko.
Yes, sir. Recorded na yan, sir. Yung ipe-play mo.
Opo.
Sige. Kung kaya mo full screen mo ha. Ano yung pang-record mo? Loom?
Opo.
Mata-download mo yan? Alam ko may
Hmm,
limit pag download sa Loom eh.
parang may bayad yata sa kaya hindi ko pa na ano eh.
Sige, basta i-play mo. 'Di ba? Pero kailangan mo yung full screen ha kasi 'di ba? Ipe-play mo naman yan dito sa Zoom nang naka full screen.
Opo.
So, mare-record din yan dito sa Zoom. So, ang gagawin ko, pagkatapos ng recording, i-edit ko rin yan, ibabalik ko sa'yo.
Sige sir. Pero ano lang naman to sir, yung recording hanggang day 2 tapos yung day 3 gagawin ko po ng live since may oral questioning po kasi 'di ba?
Doon ako sasagot sa oral questioning doon sa ano.
Opo.
O sabihin mo na yung tamang sagot, sir, para naman tama yung isasagot ko.
Mabilis lang yun.
Baka mali
Sige,
yung masagot ko, bahala ka, wala akong alam sa qualification mo.
sige po. Teka lang.
Hindi, kaya ko siya pinapractice na ganun kasi 'di ba, you are grouped into 3 persons. Tapos during your national assessment, yung tatlong magkakasama kayo, yan din yung dalawang trainees mo eh. Yan yung sinample ko na Mr. Reyes at Mr. Santos eh. So dapat sasagot talaga si Mr. Santos kapag ka-oral questioning mo. At dapat tama yung sagot niya kasi may feedbackan mo, di ba? Yun yung point ko.
Opo. Sige sir, PM ko sa inyo yung sagot.
Okay, sige. Whenever you're ready, you may start ha. Hindi na ako magsasalita. Hayaan pagka nag-play na yung video, mag-start na yung 30 minutes mo.
Okay sir, sige po.
Sir, hindi po namin dinig. Sir, ulitin mo yung pag-share mo ng screen tapos bago mo i-share screen, sa right part may nakalagay doon share sound. Dapat naka-check mark po yun.
Sige.
Hello, Teach.
Sir, excuse me, gusto mo send mo na lang sa akin yung link ng Loom mo. Tapos ako na mag-share screen.
Okay na po sir, i-play ko na po ulit.
Okay.
NC3, and I will be your trainer, Matthew.
Sir, wait lang before you start. Pause nyo muna ulit, sir. Okay, before you start, sir, the day 1 at day 2 yan, sabi mo? Tama?
Opo. Opo.
Pagdating after niyan, hindi na kita ikakata, dumiretso ka kagad ng ng
So good
institution.
morning, everyone. I would like to welcome
Opo,
you
sir. Sige
to
po.
our training
Okay,
center.
start ka ulit, sorry.
So good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you into our training center, Galley Guild Training Center. And this program is Ship's Catering Cook, NC3, and I will be your trainer, Matthew Philip U. Balagtas. So before anything else, I would like to ask to close your eyes and have a short prayer, opening prayer for today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So before we proceed with our orientation, I would like to briefly discuss our background. Gali Guild Training Center is an accredited tested training center located in Barangay Concepcion Dos Marikina that provides quality technical education and skills development, specializing in ship's cook NC1, 2, and 3 courses. And together with TESDA, we help in the promotion of middle-level manpower development. So to familiarize yourselves with the area, let me show you the layout.
Sir Matthew, forgive my intrusion. Pasensya na po. Nawawala po kasi yung audio talaga. Sir Matthew?
Yes, sir.
Sir, nawawala yung audio. Kung okay lang sir, send mo na lang sa akin yung yung link ng Loom video. Ako na yung magpe-present.
Sige po.
Then after that, proceed ka na lang doon sa institutional assessment.
Okay, sir.
Sige.
Copy po.
Thank you.
Sir, sinend ko na po sa dito lang din po sa GC sa Zoom.
So good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you into our training center, Gali Guild Training Center, and your this program is Ships Catering Cook NC3, and I will be your trainer, Matthew Philip U. Balagtas. So before anything else, I would like to ask to close your eyes and have a short prayer, opening prayer for today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So before we proceed with our orientation, I would like to briefly discuss our background. Gali Guild Training Center is an accredited TESDA training center located in Barangay Concepcion Dos Marikina that provides quality technical education and skills development, specializing in ship's cook NC1, 2, and 3 courses. And together with TESDA, we help in the promotion of middle-level manpower development. So to familiarize yourselves with the area, let me show you the layout. If you're looking for where the comfort room is, it is on the left side upon exiting our classroom, beside the trainer resource area. So next, before we proceed with anything else, I would like you to accomplish a short exercise to help me guide you through the learning process. This will only take at least 10 to 15 minutes to accomplish. Once you are done, please pass it in front and I will inform you with the results later after the class. Thank you. So let's start the orientation with what is the approach our training center is delivering. So Galigil Training Center together with TESDA is have this approach of competency-based training. So what is competency-based training? It is an approach that focuses on the competency development of the learner as a result of the training. So why the competency-based approach? Education and training must keep pace with technology and customer requirements. So we have here 10 principles of competency-based training. The training is based on curriculum developed from the competency standards. Next, learning is competency-based or modular in structure. Next, training delivery is individualized and self-paced, meaning the training delivery is individualized and self-paced, meaning the trainings are treated as individual learners given their different characteristics, learning styles, and training needs. Next, training is based on work that must be performed. Uh, it means that learning is based on actual industry practice. Next, we have training materials are directly related to the competency standards and the curriculum. Next, assessment of learners is based on the collection of evidence of work performance based on industry or organizational required standards. Training is based on and off the job components. Next, the system allows recognition of prior learning, meaning current competencies acquired before training can be recognized and validated through a process. So it could be in through certification or prior, yeah, certificate of employment, could be diploma. Depends if it fits the curriculum or the program. It will be recognized by the institution. So next, the system allows for learner to enter and exit programs at different times and levels and to receive an award for competencies attained at any point. And lastly, approved training programs are nationally accredited. So what is competency-based training delivery and how the flow starts, or what is the program? So first, uh, entry and planning, the trainee will enter the program. So this initial step includes several activities. Uh, the trainer or me will conduct the orientation, which is what we are doing now. I will also explain the role of the trainee and the trainer. I will also try to identify the training needs and also organize learning activities. Next, the trainee selects competency and receives instruction. So once the initial planning is complete, the trainee formally selects the competency they will pursue. So this stage involves administer learning agreement, um, introduction to CBLM materials, the use of achievement and progress report. Next, this is the core training phase where the trainee engage with the learning materials and activities. So the trainee, in order to learn the program, he or she must engage to the following materials and activities by, for example, reading or reviewing learning packages, We have here view multimedia materials, use manuals, observe demonstration, practice skills in workshop, receive assistance and feedback, and CBLM or competency-based learning materials. Next, after completing the learning activities, the trainee performance is assessed. So how it will be assessed? First, the trainee will attempt a task. He will try to perform the required skill or task. Next, the trainer will observe the performance, and also the trainee will rate his own performance. Then afterwards, the trainer, after observing the trainee's performance, uh, he will formally evaluate the trainee's attempt. So upon evaluation, there will be two results. Which there will be one result, and if the competency is performed satisfactorily, then the process will move to the next stage. So the trainee will proceed to institutional assessment. If not, he will he will go back to the learning phase. So he will try to perform again the task, and the trainee performance. So before doing that again, he will look back to reading again the learning package, review multimedia materials, and so forth. Then in the institutional assessment, it will follow the satisfactory performance rating. So it has its own final assessment. So if the trainee again pass the institutional assessment, they will move to the final stage, which is the national assessment. If not, and they are not yet competent, um, they will be typically go back to the learning performance phase and re-practice the whole process and be reassessed. So in the national assessment, the trainee proceeds to the official and final assessment. So if he or she passed this assessment, then he already completed the program and may exit the program as well. So as your trainer, I will I will be also your facilitator. I will guide you and assist you during the learning process. I will also be your mentor. I will also be your managers of learning, your counselor, so I can give you advices when necessary regarding your problems or issues while undergoing the training or the learning activities. And I'm also your evaluator. So the role of the trainees, your role is you may select what you want to learn and when you want to learn it. You may also learn at your own rate within the program guidelines. So meaning learning here is self-paced. You may also request to receive credit for what you already know. Uh, you may also choose on how you want to learn. And lastly, you are also responsible for what you learn and when you will learn it. So competency-based learning material. So what is it? So it's simply a well-designed and carefully developed learning materials that gives trainees detailed instruction to guide them through the learning process. So it has media that contains information related to work requirement, learning that is guided toward achieving the competency required in a workplace, tools that facilitate individual learning process, instruments that measure the competency required in the workplace. We have different forms of learning materials. We have learning guides, assessment materials, workbook with activities, tasks, and content, background reading materials or documents, handouts, and other audiovisual materials, industry competency standards, and organizational policies, procedures, or legislations. So, in competency based learning materials, it includes the following: it has information sheet, it has self check, operation sheet, job sheet, task sheet, and lastly, performance criteria checklist. Now, with the evaluation system, in our competency based training, the evaluation system is not numerical. So this is done by stating if you are competent or not yet competent. For not yet competent, it does not mean you failed, but it means that at this point you need further mastering of the skills and give you chance to be more competent. So your attitude, skills, and knowledge are very important in your evaluation. So these are the qualifications. Uh, so I'm showing you the qualifications for our program, Ships Catering NC3. So these are the basic competencies, common competencies, and these are the core competencies. So class, this is I've already checked your pre-assessment, and these are the results. So Bernard, according to the result of your pre-assessment, you have no prior knowledge with the program, so you have to study of the first floor competency for ships catering NC3. John, however, according to the data gathered from the assessment or the result that I gathered from the assessment, you have prior learning on the first two modules of qualification. So please submit tomorrow any certificate to validate your prior learning. So before we end this session, may I ask if you have any questions? If none, I will see you all tomorrow for the lessons proper and move to the next learning activities. So good morning, class. This is our second day of our training, and before we proceed, I will check the attendance. If I call your name, please raise your hand. So Bernard Cruz, okay. John, okay. So, as I mentioned yesterday, Bernard has no prior knowledge, so he will undergo study for the first core competency for ship's cook NC3. So, Bernard, please proceed to the contextual learning area. And for 30 minutes, read and study information sheet 1.1 and answer the questionnaire and do the self check after. For John, I mean, we will start our lesson for the core competencies, and for today we will study practice food safety, sanitation, and hygiene, focusing on food handling and temperature control. Meanwhile, study or read information sheet 3.1-2 and self-check 3.1-2. I will give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes to read and answer all the items. Okay, so are you done? Uh, did you understand the lesson or lecture? Okay. So to help you more understand uh, or help you ease with the lecture, I'll present you a PowerPoint presentation and help and discuss further the lesson. So food handling and temperature control. So why do we need proper food handling? Proper handling and storage of food plays a key role in preventing most foodborne illnesses. It involves preparing food in a way that ensures it is safe for consumption. If these practices are neglected, it may result in outbreaks affecting customers or crew. So, anong role siya for us, lalo na sa ating mga kitchen personnel sa barko? Malaking bagay siya kasi once na nalason or nagkaroon ng outbreak sa barko, magkakaroon ng malaking struggle or paghinto ng operation, since halos lahat ng tao or pag nasa gitna ka ng dagat, wala namang ospital dun eh. ang magbibigay lang sa yung first aid is very minor. So ang mangyayari doon is magkakaroon ng paghinto ng operation, magkakaroon ng pagkalugi ang company. So malaking gastos ang mangyayari. May possibility na mawalan ka pa ng trabaho because of that. So hindi lang ikaw ang pwedeng mawalan ng trabaho, kundi magiging domino effect na pati yung mga kasama mo ay mawalan ng trabaho. Okay? So before we tackle the methods in handling food properly, we must first know what is food temperature and danger zone. So one key factor in safe food handling is controlling time and temperature. Bacteria can double every 20 minutes, reaching dangerous levels within 24 hours. The danger zone is 4 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, where bacteria or germs grow quickly and food can become unsafe in as little as 4 hours. So dito, sinasabi na ang danger zone or ang ibig sabihin nun kung saan ang temperature mas mabilis nag-grow ang bacteria or let's say any microorganism, doon sila komportableng dumami. So, ito yung temperature na yun. So, 4 degrees to 60 degrees Celsius. And sabi rin dito, bacteria can double every 20 minutes. So, ganun sila kabilis dumami. So, kaya sinasabi rin dito na unsafe na kainin yung pagkain mo if hinayaan mo na sa ganung temperature siya for for as little as 4 hours. So, pag lumagpas pa siya sa 4 hours, malamang sa malamang there's a big chance na ma-food poison ka na. Okay? So, what are the methods in handling food properly? The first one, syempre, the obvious one is to cooking to the safe temperature. One way to keep food safe is by cooking it to the correct internal temperature. Heat destroys harmful bacteria that can cause foodborne illness. Always use a food grade thermometer to check if meat and other food have reached the proper temperature before serving. So, para malaman natin kung luto na yung food is there are ways. Pwedeng makita through color, through smell, through by touch. Minsan pag medyo matigas na yung karne, ibig sabihin luto na siya. Pero ang pinaka-safe way para malaman natin luto na ang pagkain and para malaman natin patay na yung bacteria na nandun sa loob ng meat or sa labas ng meat is by checking the temperature of the food. So paano ba natin to ginagawa? Later, ipapakita ko sa inyo. Next is reheating and holding foods. Food reheated for hot holding must reach an internal temperature of 74 degrees within 2 hours. The food needs to stay at this temperature for at least 15 seconds before serving. So, sinasabi lang dito, within every 2 hours, kailangan check natin yung mga food na sinaserve natin sa cafeteria or sa any big batch catering na kailangan nakastay siya ng matagal. So, kailangan check natin yung temperature nila na dahil nga sabi kanina sa temperature danger zone, once na bumaba sa 60 pababa yung temperature niya and 4 degrees pataas, within the time of 4 hours is hindi na safe yung food. So within 2 hours, kailangan check nyo na siya. So para pag bumaba siya, i-reheat natin yung pagkain ulit in a certain temperature which is around 74 degrees. Okay? So thawing foods. This is one way also of properly handling food. Thawing food. So yung mga gagamitin natin for cooking na, kunyari nasa freezer pa and ilalabas natin for cooking the next day. Ano ba yung mga tamang paraan? Okay, so one way is refrigeration. We thaw at a temperature of 5 degrees or lower at around at least 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. Next is running water. We submerge food under running water at 20 degrees Celsius or lower. So dapat yung water natin is malamig pa rin. Pag running water ha, hindi lang nakababad dapat yung karne sa tubig. Next is microwaving. So itong way na to is ginagamit lang if gagamitin na natin yung karne right away. Next is cooking. So like microwaving, if gagamitin niyo na kagad yung karne, pwede niyo nang idirekta sa kawali. Next is cooling foods. Food should move through the temperature danger zone quickly to stop harmful bacteria from growing. cool hot food from 60 to 20 degrees Celsius within 2 hours, then from 20 to 5 degrees or lower within the next 4 hours. If it doesn't reach 20 degrees Celsius in the first 2 hours, it must be reheated and cooled again or thrown away. The whole cooling process should never take more than 6 hours. So, method in cooling foods. The most effective way to cool foods is to reduce its size. This involves dividing large containers of food into smaller containers or shallow pans. Other method includes ice water bath, paddle, blast or tumbler chiller, using cold water as an ingredient. So another method is food storage. So proper food storage is vital for health and safety. Factors like storage condition, delivery practices, and the hygiene of galley staff can all affect the food quality. Below are 8 guidelines to help maintain food safety in your galley. One is the delivery temperature. So when fresh produce is delivered or when meat is delivered, make sure to measure the temperature of each ingredient. If the temperature is not correctly chilled, meaning hindi siya yung temperature niya is around 4 degrees or 5 degrees pataas, may chance na kumalat yung bacteria kagad since sabi kanina nga every 20 minutes nagdo-double yung bacteria, di ba? So if that happens, reject the product, call the supplier for replacement of your product. Okay? Next, toxic chemicals. Keep chemicals and cleaning products away from food. Never put hazardous substances above food or beside your food. So meaning, wag niyo itabi lang basically wag niyo lang itabi yung mga bleach or yung mga dishwashing liquid niyo sa isang lutong pagkain kasi it can cause cross contamination. Next, floor level. So do not store boxes on the floor. Uh, Make sure na kahit nakabox siya, maglalagay kayo ng something raised platform or yung paleta or yung shelf na at least 6 inches away from the floor. Kasi floor itself has a lot of bacteria. So it can also cross-contaminate your food. So syempre, kailangan ng storage space natin dapat malinis din. So walang kwenta yung first three natin kung madumi yung storage space natin. So make sure to clean your storage space. Always keep away all the dirty stuff. Alisin yung mga peste na like daga, ipis para hindi ma-contaminate yung food natin. Next is FIFO. FIFO means first in, first out. So by using this method, you'll ensure both food quality and food safety. So it ensures that when you deliver food that is stored behind the deliveries, it can ensures that the older food will be used first. So meaning yung mga dumating na nauna, yun dapat yung unang lalabas. Hindi yung dumating na nauna tapos may dumating na bago, yung bago yung una nating ilalabas. Dapat yung kung ano yung unang dumating, yun yung unang lalabas para ma-ensure yung tamang pag-ikot nung stocks nyo at the same time hindi kayo masisiraan ng pagkain. Okay? Next, labeling. So when food is prepared, remember to add the preparation date to the dish. So lagyan dapat siya ng date, yung dish name and date yung date kung kailan siya prepare. Meat goes under. So when food is prepared, dapat alalahanin nyo na hindi po pwedeng nasa taas yung karne tapos nasa ilalim yung luto mong pagkain. Kasi merong chance na yung blood or yung liquid na meron dun sa karne nyo, pwedeng matuluan yung lutong pagkain nyo. And there's a chance na magkaroon ng cross-contamination. So, pwedeng ma-spoil yung food, yung lutong pagkain. Sayang yung pagkain at the same time can be hazardous or risky for anyone who will eat that food. Okay? Lastly, stick to the temperature. Follow the food storage temperature regulations to ensure your food is always stored at optimal temperature to ensure freshness and prevent food contamination. Okay? So I will show you a short video presentation to help you more understand the lesson. Okay. So next, so now I will show you how to properly insert a food thermometer on the dish and how to properly cool food through ice bath. So as you can see, pag tinusok natin yung thermometer, kailangan medyo pa-side kasi para ma-measure niya or ma-measure niya yung internal temperature nung pagkain mo. Then, pag nabasa na nung thermometer, if nandun na siya sa tamang temperature, dun sa minimal temperature, uh, that's the time na mong luto na yung food mo. Okay? Next is how to do ice bath. So sa ice bath, as you can see, meron tayong dalawang bowl. Yung isa mas malaki, then yung isa mas maliit. Yung mas maliit, yun yung pinapalamig natin na item. So, dun sa malaking bowl, lalagyan natin siya ng ice water and doon natin ilalagay yung maliit na bowl. Make sure na pag nilagay niyo yung bowl, nako-coveran yung bowl ng ice at water kasi kung kalahati lang yung masasubmerge doon eh walang sense yung pagpapalamig natin. Okay? So now let me see how you do it in 10 minutes. Okay, John. Upon observing, you did well in wearing your PPE before doing the task. Medyo meron kang little hesitation in inserting the thermometer. Uh, Next time, you could put it a little more deeper, pero wag naman yung hanggang buong stick eh mawala naman. Parang at least half nung stick eh pumasok doon sa meat or sa dish na binabasa mo. Okay? But still, you still perform satisfactory to the task. So congratulations. You may undergo the institutional assessment.
Hello, sir. Yes, hello. May sound na po.
Yes po.
So, good morning again, class. So, for today, I will conduct the institutional assessment for John on the core competencies of food handling, observing food, practicing food safety, sanitation and hygiene, focusing on food handling and temperature monitoring.
But before that, let me check first the attendance. So when I call your name, please raise your hand. John, okay. So John, there will be three methods to assess you. First, please answer the written exam, and you are given it has 20 question items, and you are given at least 1 hour to finish it. Okay. Next, please pass your paper. So next, you need to perform the task listed in the task sheet, and you are given at least 1 hour to finish the task. Please proceed to the practical work area or kitchen laboratory. So okay, John. Based on what you have so far accomplished, I need to ask you the following questions. Hello po. Uh, Based on what you have so far accomplished, I need to ask the following questions to determine your knowledge. So first, let me ask you, why do we reheat the food within 2 hours?
Because bacteria and microorganisms rapidly grow within 20 minutes.
Okay. Next question is, can you please give me the meaning of the acronym FIFO?
First in, first out.
Okay, thank you for that. So I'll just get back to you and I'll just review all the results when I after you finish the demo. Okay. So I already have your results. I'll I'll let you know per topic or per method what is the result of your assessment. So in the written exam, your answers in your written exam are about 75% correct. So congratulations on that. For the demo, I have observed that you did not implement the proper PPEs. Um, your gloves has a little torn, and you must replace it uh, once it is already has holes or it has been torn. Okay, but you were still able to achieve the objectives of the given task. For the oral questioning, you have answered the question satisfactorily. So with these results, I consider you to be competent. And since this is the last score for Ship's Cook or Ship's Catering NC3, I will now recommend you to undergo the national assessment. Congratulations. So, but before you go, uh, please answer the training evaluation form. This would help me improve or enhance the conduct of the training and the training sessions. Thank you again. Congratulations and God bless to your national assessment.
Done up to, sir.
Yes po.
Okay. So let me provide feedback on our demonstration. So for the most part, you did well, especially on the orientation. Maganda yung naging pacing nyo. When it comes to the orientation for COC1, so na-discuss natin lahat ng mga importanteng parts ng inyong orientation, especially yung principles and the way you did the CBT process flow. Maganda yung pagkaka-discuss natin. Overall, you did well on the orientation part as well as yung pagpo-provide ng pre-training assessment, pag-administer, pag-explain, at of course, yung pagpo-provide ng results. So when it comes to your training proper, nakita natin no na yung ating video for orientation in the training proper days ay inabot na kagad ng 35 minutes. So, pwede natin i-minimize lang siguro yung lecture in order for us to actually provide na or ma-cover natin yung 30-minute na time limit. Hindi naman kailangan ganun ka-elaborate the way we do the lecture portion of your COC1 demonstration. Ang mahalaga lang po is for us to provide a lecture. So kahit 2 to 3 slides will do, kahit wala na akong background, kahit yung mismong task lang ng paggamit ng thermometer sa food. Wala na po, kahit di na po natin mag-provide ng medyo malawak na background. Although I understand na when it comes to the actual lecture of the said content, meron talagang scrutiny, no? Especially that is food handling. Naiintindihan ko naman. Pero for purposes of the demonstration, pwede po kahit simplihan na lang natin yung lecture. Kasi nabot ka ng around 10 minutes for the lecture itself. Pwede
Oo nga.
natin minimize yun. So when
Okay,
it comes to the demonstration, I would like to appreciate you actually recording yourself while doing the demonstration. So that way po kasi napapakita talaga natin that we actually did the demonstration even dito pa lang sa online na setting. At of course, yun din ang i-reflect natin sa national assessment. Please be reminded that the demonstration of your trainees should be evident on the national assessment kapag face-to-face na. Pati na rin yung demonstration niya on the institutional assessment. Okay?
Copy, sir.
So when it comes to your institutional assessment, you did well din on that part. So you have managed to to provide 3 different methods, written exam, demonstration, although may comment ako on that, no? I-reflect na lang natin sa national assessment. On the oral questioning, mahalaga po kasi, no? Kaya kinulit ko si sir na ibigay yung tamang sagot. Kasi that is observable behavior. Paano kung hindi ako sumagot or mali yung nasagot ko? Tapos yung naging feedback niya, you did answer my question satisfactorily. So nagiging counterintuitive yung COC1 demonstration nyo kapag ka hindi real observation yung magpo-provide ng feedback. So yun po yung importance, no? Kaya kailangan talaga, kaya ginrupo ko rin po kayo for your demonstration para po alam natin kung ano yung kailangan gawin at the same time magtulungan po tayo on our demonstrations para po mas real observation of the whole demonstration process yung inyong gagawin. And overall, you did well on your COC1 demonstration, Mr. Balagtas. You may proceed to COC2. Na-provide ko na po sa inyo ang materials for COC2, although magdi-discuss po ako niyan as we go along on our meetings. And yun. Please continue po. Congratulations, Mr. Balagtas.
Thank you, sir.
So yun, may katanungan po ba tayo before we end today's session? Okay guys, if you don't have any question, isa-send ko na lang po yung video ko earlier for the COC1 demonstration. Yung kay Mr. Balagtas, sa kanya ko po isa-send ang recording ng kanyang COC1 demonstration. Decision po niya kung willing po siyang i-share. Of course, ano yan eh. Since siya yung author mismo ng demonstration, siya po ang bahala. Basta ibibigay ko po sa kanya yung video of demonstration. Okay? If you don't have any questions, you may leave the Zoom meeting. I'll see you once again tomorrow.